This is Mark Bell from supertraining.tv, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West. I am outside of Starbucks. I just dropped a bomb in there, and I'm about to hit and run and take off. But I got a question from a guy named Brian. I think it was just in my email. Not sure where it came from. But he got a question about the sumo deadlift. He says sees a lot of people switching over to the sumo deadlift, and he wants to know, as a conventional puller, if it's something that he should implement. I kind of like doing this because it reminds me of The Hangover. If I just walk like this for a minute. Remember that scene in The Hangover when the guy yanked out his own tooth and everything? That was amazing. Anyway, the sumo deadlifts can be beneficial for anybody. It can help people with their squat. It can help people with their sumo deadlift, obviously. It can also help them with their conventional deadlift. So I'd say, especially if you haven't done it, or if you do it and you realize that you suck at it, then start to implement it. If you implement it and you're really good at it, then maybe there's not a whole lot of reason to focus on it. However, if you're really good at it, maybe that would be a style that you would end up switching to at some point. One of the main reasons why you see so many geared lifters utilizing the sumo pull is because we can get a lot out of our gear. A lot of people say, oh, you can only get 50 pounds out of a suit when you deadlift. I think that's one of the biggest myths in powerlifting, is that you can't get anything out of a deadlift suit. I think that's 100% bullshit. That's people lying about their raw strength is what that is. I get a lot out of my suit. I would say I get at least 100 pounds out of it, maybe even more. Who knows? I don't really know. I don't really test out my raw sumo pull all that often, but I would imagine that it's probably not that great. I push it a little bit in training, obviously, to work on it, because it's not something that I'm great at. But it's not a main focus for me to hit max singles sumo raw, and I would imagine that I'd get at least 100 pounds out of my suit, if not 150. And that's kind of the name of this sport. The name of the game is trying to suck up as much out of your gear as you can. And if you're a raw lifter, trying to suck up as much as you can out of utilizing special exercise to get stronger and to make yourself better. So if you're a conventional deadlifter out there, I would strongly suggest that you implement the sumo pull. It's going to bring up the strength of your hips, should even increase the mobility of your hips. I would start out with it, just doing it for work up to a heavy set of 3 or so, and do 3 sets of 3, but try not to push it too hard the first couple times you use it. Try not to go too wide the first couple times you use it. Get yourself used to it. If you're a raw lifter, go with a medium sumo stance, kind of a sumo conventional type stance. That way you won't hurt your hips and you won't run into any injuries or anything like that. Also, Jesse Burdick and myself, when we go out to these CrossFit powerlifting certification courses, we run into a lot of guys that are pulling conventional, and oftentimes we have them go out sumo, and they really like to implement the sumo deadlifting because it hits their hips in a way that they've never experienced before. It's working the hips, the lower back, the glutes in a fashion that they're just not used to. And there's kind of a saying out there that says the best program is the one you're currently not using. I know that fucks some people up in their head and it's confusing, but basically it's just stating that if you're working on conditioning for a long period of time, you probably need to work on strength now. If you're working on strength for a long period of time, you probably need to focus on some conditioning, and so on and so forth. You can't have it all. You can't have it all going on all at one time. And so it's great the best way to avoid being too far off the charts in one direction is to constantly mix it up and use the conjugate system and keep changing up your exercises and keep mixing things up, keep throwing curveballs at your body, so to speak. And that is it from supertraining.tv. Later.